Hey, it's Wednesday, it's a presidential podcast.
Hey.
You should tune in, it's gonna be a blast. Hey, it's Wednesday, it's a presidential podcast.
Hey.
You should tune in, it's gonna be a blast.
It's Kennedy. Hey, it's your host, Kennedy Watson. Tune in to the Root Podcast, a presidential series every Wednesday. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to the presidential podcast, The Root. I'm so excited to be back here. This is our second episode of the season and the semester. So let's just go around and everybody introduce themselves. I'm Kennedy Watson, the host.
We got for Casey on all platforms.
Yes, and Allay Earhart on all platforms.
My name is Tori McDowell, Dillon University grad of 2016.
Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Bree, artsy girl, at A Bree on Instagram and Twitter.
Hi, my name is Traylon Rogers from Dallas, Texas, and my Instagram name is TraelonTyler.
Joshua Williams, Portland, Oregon. Instagram and Twitter at TheJoshIV.
What's up? My name's Sierra Hainsworth. Everybody calls me Cece. My handle is outspoken with 2 U's and 2 N's on every platform. I'm back as well. I'm Savannah Haynes, and my only on Instagram is HAYY__TAE.
Hey, Tay.
Hey, Tay.
Hello, I'm Truman Campbell. My ad name on Instagram is @4True.
Okay, cool. So, as you guys know, on this side of the room, we have our guests as far as, like, these are the students here at Dillon University, and over here are our graduates from Dillon University. Tori mentioned that she graduated in 2015 and 16. Okay, but I'm sorry, I'm thinking when I came to Dillon, so that was spring 16, and you were spring 18. Okay. So, we're going to hop into it, but we want them to kind of relax for a second. We're going to talk to you guys. So our first question is, like, what do you imagine life after undergrad? When you graduate, how do you think you're going to feel? Where do you see yourself after undergrad? And then we're going to turn it back to you guys, and you can kind of shed some light, like, oh, it's totally not like that. This is how it really is. So whoever wants to start, yeah.
You want me to?
Or you can you can simply pass it.
Does anybody have their answer together yet? Go ahead, Bree.
Okay, so after Dillard, I see like my life after undergrad being pretty good. I just see myself kind of going into, closing one chapter and going into the next one. So, I see myself in a different environment. I don't see myself in Louisiana anymore because I am from here. I see myself, either in a job or in a grad school opportunity, not as like a pie in the sky type of wishing for those things. Like, those are things I'm actively working on now and making, a way to be able to just kind of step into. So more like not so much shuffle and trying to like rush and do something now because, it's a time for me to do something. It's more kind of like just getting what I've been preparing for.
All right.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask the question, like, so whenever y'all do graduate, like, do you plan to go back home or go to a school that's not home?
So for me, I plan to move back home because I can't stay here. I love New Orleans. The vibe is great, but I just have to go back home.
It's understandable.
For me, where do I see myself? I just want to be happy. I don't want to be miserable doing anything that I don't like doing just because, like, I'm making really great money. So I'm still, like, in a space where I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so where's home for you? Because everybody doesn't know.
I am from Riverside, California. If you don't know where that's at, that's like an hour.
California.
Yeah, it's Riverside, California. It's an hour away from LA. So, yeah.
And so we're asking this question simply because we did a poll. We do a poll on what the topic should be. And it seemed the highest result was Life After Dillard, and following it was supporting Black-owned businesses. So we'll talk about that again today. But it just seems to be a steaming topic, and students are eager to know. I'm in undergrad right now. What should I expect? So, that's why we want to hear from you, and they can get a feel so they can give advice on what we can possibly expect type thing. Mm-hmm.
Life after Dillard, what I see it as is, while I have an opportunity lined up, it's still something that I'll have to really build my own support system in a new environment. Being at Dillard University, you have all your friends, family supporting you, but depending on the opportunity you have, you won't have that moving forward. So it's kind of like, not scary, but it's like more weight on your shoulders, and you kind of have to rebuild the relationships that, you would like to have in order to keep afloat and wake up every day and do your job. If you go to do a job, I don't plan on going to grad school until maybe 3 or 4 years from now, but I don't know, it just seems like another big step in life. And, you have to hold yourself accountable for, spending and, things like that, because I don't know about y'all, I can't call my parents and ask them for anything, so I just really have to, budget well and, stay afloat.
So, okay, Cece, before you speak, so Traylon, you didn't want to speak, okay. Traylon is a freshman in this room, right? But he's just like this stellar student. Are you even classified as a freshman?
No.
Okay, right. So, like, you're in here because you're just really eager, and I feel like you could give something to this conversation as well. But what do you think, or what do you expect? Because me personally, I mean, and this is for everybody, I expect bills after undergrad, and I expect to hustle because I see myself in New York in a couple months. And no matter the salary, I understand I'm going to have to hustle. And I like to stay busy, so I just see things being really busy and me paying bills. That's really what I foresee right now. But that's what I want at the same time. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I intend to be debt free as soon as I get out. That's what I want to start off as, because like all of y'all have said so far, there's real life responsibilities after this. But I intend to go, so I'm classified right now as a sophomore, my second semester sophomore, and then next year I'll apply for the 3-2 program, where I'll do my master's and my bachelor's in 5 years. But since I already started, I'll have 4 years, and that's kind of my goal, to go right to grad school and then go to law school. So I want to go through all that debt free, hopefully. I mean, but yeah, I just kind of want to stay in school as long as I can, get all my knowledge, and that way, have the rest of my life ahead of me without worrying about, remembering algebra or statistics or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how I see it.
Why don't you get the license?
Yeah, so I'm trying to work on my real estate license now, so I can, make money. But it's gonna be in Texas though. But I do not see myself living anywhere besides Texas. So. Yeah.
In Dallas?
Well, hopefully, I'm not from Dallas proper. I'm from like the suburbs in Arlington. But yeah, anywhere in the metroplex. Like I can't stand Houston. It's too hot and humid. So it's like New Orleans. But anywhere out, in Texas. I mean, if I have to take Houston, that's what it is. But Texas, we're our own country, like in our minds. So
that sounds like New Orleans.
Exactly.
It sounds exactly like New Orleans. So y'all got y'all's responses or advice that you feel that you can shed light on.
Cool. So first on with Miss Bree, right? I like to say that I noticed you were saying you see, right? You see yourself, and that's important because you're envisioning it. So as long as like all of us are envisioning, our future, that's the first step of actually, getting to where we want to be, envisioning. With Miss Tamaya, right? I understand being happy, right? But never put emphasis on what you don't want. Say what you want, right? Because I know that you say you don't want to be miserable. Don't even focus on that part. Just strictly focus on being happy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. To manifest that. I didn't hear you say anything. You see. Sorry, man. In terms of Josh, man, like you've already done it, right? It's just the fact of doing it again. Consistency. Just do it again. You already took that big step. You moved from Portland, came to New Orleans. You met all these wonderful people. You can do it again. You know what I'm saying? One more time, bro. Traylon, Mr. Texas himself. One thing I'll say for sure is always like seek knowledge, even if it isn't in the institution, right? Because you can learn from the person that's standing outside the store asking for change. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't stop at a college institution. So just always be looking. And also, I've been getting into real estate myself. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can connect on that after the pod. You feel me? But yeah, overall, it's like, just envisioning it and making sure that you say what you want and not what you don't want. You feel me? And yeah, continue to stay consistent. Just embrace what you already been doing. Having that confidence to say, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that's my advice.
So what major, also, before y'all go ahead, like tell them what you graduated with at Dillard.
So yeah, marketing, similar to you, will be doing. And as far as Tamara and Josh, so we all, we family basically, you know what I'm saying, but marketing, business and marketing.
I graduated with business administration, concentration management. So I recently just actually got a position that's actually within my field. Be mindful, I've been out at Dillard since 2016, so I just made 3 years. So nothing is guaranteed right after, unless you have built your connection like that or relationship like that. I really had to go through different positions just to get where I'm at, just to build my resume, just to be hired as just, phenomenal, I'm saying that so wrong. Just to be hired as a great candidate. And that's why I got the position that I'm at right now, which is a management trainee position. So, yeah, that's why I graduated in. I agree with everything that you said. All the advice that you gave them, I definitely second everything. I really don't have anything much more to say. You hit everything on
I
the
want to
head.
add on what you just said as well. Like, as far as knowing that it's a marathon, literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't necessarily have to just come out of the gate. And, because there's a lot of, what can I say, like pictures being painted, whether it's social media or just from society standpoint. So, you need to be here as soon as you finish. Like, you're a perfect case and example. Like, you might not even be finished. You'll be finished before the average 4 years. You see what I'm saying? So, like, don't hold yourself to the standard where everybody else wants you to be. You know what I'm saying? Just know it's gonna take time. You feel me? I just seen a quote recently on Instagram. It was like, when you plant a fruit tree, the last thing to grow is the fruit. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. Yeah.
That's great. Tori, I saw your sister. Do you want to get her? She can come in.
Okay, the door was locked.
Yeah.
She didn't use the restroom.
Okay.
I'll let her know.
Okay, let her know, and then you just open the door when you see somebody. Okay, cool. You're welcome. I'm like, she cannot be out there.
You want to go to the Instagram response?
Yeah, so I sent out a poll on my Instagram, and then I put it on my Twitter too. And it was to all graduates asking, what advice can you give to undergraduates? So I'm going to say what those responses are, and then you guys can answer, agree or disagree.
So
you can elaborate if you want.
These are answers from also
Right,
graduates?
right.
Okay.
Like, if you can speak to it, speak to it. If you can, if you disagree with the statement, disagree. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, everybody I know that responded is not a graduate. However, if they're good, I'm going to say it. Okay, so this one was from Nicole. She actually graduated from Dillard. She says, comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on your journey because every step is ordered differently.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, after I graduated, I actually had to fast from social media because you see where so many people are and where you want to be. That comparison, that's a real statement for sure. And in the Bible somewhere, I'm not sure the scripture, but you're not supposed to compare yourself to anyone.
Right.
So I definitely had to fast from social media for like a good 6-7 months. And even now, I'm not heavy on social media like that.
You're not.
You'll see me post some IG stories every now and then. I haven't posted a picture since my mom's birthday. So social media isn't, it just, I had to chill out. because so many people post where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and being mindful that you don't know what they had to do to get there. So you don't know their background story, anything like that. So I definitely agree with that statement. That statement for sure.
Yeah. Agreed. Simple.
Okay. This one is at Richie Ray. She says, get involved. Your GPA is only half of what they consider involvement is key.
Yes, I agree, but I also disagree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like in the real world, similar to how we both speaking about real estate, right? When you go to the bank, they're not gonna ask what's your GPA. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be asking about your financial statement. You know, like what all your assets are. You know, how well do you manage money, as we were just speaking about, right? Because ultimately, that's gonna be the things once we, you know, looking to start a family and all that, all those different things is what really matters. But of course, in the academic field, your GPA does matter, but it's not everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not everything. So yeah.
Can you read her?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So at Richie Ray, she says, get involved. Your GPA is only half of what they consider involvement is key.
I agree that involvement is important for sure,
Mm-hmm.
being that I was a prominent student leader.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you.
Senior
But,
class president.
I wouldn't say it's everything. I
Mm-hmm.
learned that after Dillard. After I graduated, it made me realize that, man, I should have definitely taken more time to do internships, different programs. Student leadership is great, but it's not everything. I don't agree that it's key.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining a good GPA and learning what you need to learn throughout your class and your course studies, that's what's really important. Because even now, with my position, and I'll get into what my position is, but business majors, they just went over SWOT analysis in my field. And it's like, damn, I remember, but then again, I don't, because I don't want to out anyone, but
You
I mean,
can.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't learn the best from, I think Taku, I had Dr. Taku for business management class, and we learned SWOT analysis in that. I only briefly remember just going over it, but not knowing what it was. But in general, I do believe that student leadership is great to have. You can build from it. You can gain experience from it. But I don't think it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because while I was still trying to be the student leader everybody wanted me to be, I never fully got myself together so I could be good after Dillard. Meaning I didn't do internships, I didn't do programs. I was so worried about being the student leader, making sure Dillard was cool, and not making sure myself was cool. So I disagree, but agree with what that person said.
Cool. That hit home. that hit home because I'll say, speaking to the student leadership part, it holds me to a standard that I know I have to keep my grades and my academics a certain level, because I wouldn't be in SGA if my grades weren't a certain way. But to the SWOT part, Josh and I don't know about Josh because he's an overachiever. However, I found out about like all this business terminology from my internships. It wasn't just inside of the classroom. So I can agree to parts of her statement simply because I have learned so much from the internship part. But, the key thing to balancing thing is like getting rid of some stuff as well. All right, so the next one is, her name is at Worth Much. So she says, don't mix priorities with bullshit.
Agreed.
Cool advice. Okay. All right. So the next one is, be open-minded to different opportunities. Apply yourself at all times.
I definitely agree on that one.
Yeah.
My second position that I received after undergrad, I didn't want to do it. It was more so sales.
Mm-hmm.
That position was within AT&T corporate retail. I didn't want to sell anymore at all. Before I got there, I was at Apple. Apple sells itself, so it really wasn't a hard up sales position. But I gave AT&T a try because I knew that it could help me grow continuously. And even with my position now, that I have, sales is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the reason that God had to place me in sales for something, so I can prepare for what I'm destined to be. So I definitely agree with that statement for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also the key to that, I would say, is your inner circle, immediate circle, because I was one track minded when it came down to opportunities and things of that sort. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, but being surrounded by people, like Ron and just my whole peer group, it was just encouraged. You know what I'm saying, to try different things, because you never know what the result can be from those attempts. So yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Casey, you want to read something?
It's crazy. You just said the same thing, but I'm gonna read it. Surround yourself with people with the same hustle as you, and with the ambition you admire. Yeah.
Agreed.
And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit too. Yeah. So my friends, like we do music and we do a lot of business stuff together. Like you said, your peer group and your friends. So I'm just like happy I have them around me, because like we're just coming here for the first time. I didn't have business. I didn't have, even with creative like opportunities, I was kind of closed-minded. I was in my room doing what I want to do, right? And they kind of made me become, not I won't say better, but they made me
They made you become better.
Yeah, yes. I don't want to say better, but they kind of like they pushed me, Just want to go. Yeah.
Grapevine. Remember that, Casey?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh, God, give me a question. Yeah. Like I was saying, they pushed me and made me realize how great I was, and knowing that I would push certain opportunities away because I was scared, you know what I'm saying? So being around them, Adrian, Truman, tell me, hey, do this opportunity, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? And being around Tamara Kennedy, showing me opportunities to do, and it makes you smarter, and it molds you to become a better person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm getting kind of emotional actually talking about that, because that hit home like close. Like my friends really helped me come in here to become a better person, and just knowing more, you know what I'm saying, with the knowledge.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was looking on Twitter because some folks did reply on Twitter too, but here Casey kind of scrolled through. But so this one is from Tavon Blair. He says everything will work out. You're going to have a moment of uncertainty, but it's temporary. And to speak to that, I know personally, in his mind, ideally, he could have had all these opportunities come to his lap, right? But he was like, he went straight to an internship, and a lot of people have this mindset, oh, I'm going to have this 50K plus job as soon as I graduate undergrad. And so it's kind of a shock to him or whatever. And I think that's with me too, because I'm applying for these different things. And I'm like, Kennedy, you can also apply for internships too. Like, don't set this bar too high. You may need to learn and then apply yourself into, some type of job or whatever. So anyway, he went from internship to a big job. And so sometimes God will take you through the grass before you're actually where you think or where he wants you to be. So yeah, I'm glad he shared that, because he's been a little quiet, but I'm glad he stuck to that. So are you guys where you thought you would be after undergrad?
My bad. I laugh because no. No. Honestly, I didn't have any expectations after I graduated. Because again, I was so wrapped up into student leadership. I was just so wrapped up into Dillard. I never took a moment to just be like, damn, Tori, what you gonna do after college?
Right.
Like, I didn't take a serious moment. I would have never guessed that I would be where I am. I would have never guessed that I would have had 3 positions since graduation. 1, working at Apple. 2, working at AT&T. 3, I'm at Enterprise right now as a management trainee, which is in my field, and I'll be becoming an assistant manager within 2 months. So I'm definitely not no, this is not where I thought I would be. Honestly, don't know where I would be. That's why I can't say like, no, this is not where I thought I would be. But I'm blessed to be where I am. I'm blessed to have gone through those other two positions just to get to where I am now within my field. You definitely are going to go through some loopholes. You're going to go through a lot of trials, tribulations, a lot of struggles, but that's okay because it helps you build your character. It helps you build strength. It helps you build faith as well. And you're just preparing for who God wants you to be, who God destined you to be. So it's definitely not what I expected, but I'm blessed to be where I am. Seriously, really am.
Yeah, and I second that. The way I look at it, everything since graduation of actually enrolling into Dillard has been a plus because my life prior to Dillard was just, I just wouldn't expect to be here, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just appreciative that I'm able to sit right here because I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't even be sitting here if I was on the same path that I was on before. So everything is a plus for me. So, yeah.
So thank y'all. So this question is, well, not even question, but statement is about loans. And I'm glad somebody said that because, I have student loans. So this is Adrian. Adrian says, always pay very close attention to your loans if you have any. Research the pros and the cons of loan consolidation in preparation for paying them back. So where y'all at? Are y'all over here paying loans? I'm trying to,
I'm not.
No?
Not at the moment. But I definitely have a plan for it. You know what I'm saying? And it all, once again, ties back to real estate.
Real estate.
I have a plan. It's just a matter of knowing that it's going to take some time. You know what I'm saying? And but don't be scared of loans either because just the way that the economy works, like the way that currency and all that is backed up, everything is basically debt. Like if we all pull out a dollar bill, it's gonna say debt on it, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of knowing what's considered good debt and what's considered bad debt. So in a sense, student loans is considered bad debt because you can't, declare bankruptcy on it, right? So that's the bad part about it. However, let's say if you're actually paying on it, it can help out your credit score, you know what I'm saying? So it's not totally bad. It's just all about the mindset of how you're going to tackle it, you know what I'm saying? And not let it tackle you, so, yeah.
Agreed, for sure. Life after Dillard, I definitely, one of the first things I learned is that money comes and goes. Like, it's not meant to have forever at all. After I graduated, President Obama was still in term. He had the Obama Loan Forgiveness Program, so I signed up for that, and I was able to make payments monthly for a few months. However, you had to continue to have a job just to get, make those payments. So for a little minute, I went without having a job, so I couldn't pay it anymore. So right now, I'm trying to get back on track with paying it, but, your loans are going to be there, bro. It's not going nowhere. Right. Like, if you think back to when President Obama was in office, him and Michelle made a statement saying that they just finished paying off their student loans. Like, that's insane. Like, y'all in the White House 20 some odd years later and y'all just now getting, having that opportunity to pay off your student loans. But it's going to happen. I don't think it's anything that y'all have to stress about, honestly. Just got to make time to plan on how you're going to pay it off as well. That's all.
So I guess the biggest question is to go to college or to not go to college. Did you gain something from it, or how are y'all feeling post-college? Because we want to know.
You want to take this one first?
Sure. With every position I work, I have young people coming in and out. I've always promoted college just because of the experience I received. I think college is amazing, honestly. I think college gives you that time to figure out at least a little bit of who you are. It gives you responsibilities because, low-key, when you move to the Gardens, you living on your own. You got your own little apartment. Like, I get it, but, it's still a little apartment. That's yours instead of a dorm room,
Right.
So It gives you responsibility. You have a different outlook on life. If you're one of those students that don't work while you're going to college, you have to learn how to save money or spend money, be smart about that. So, yes and no for college, because once my sister moved to New Orleans from Shreveport with me, my sister, she went to college, but she did not finish, and she is successful as can be. She owns her own business, McDowell's Branding Group, LLC. She's doing great. It's all about experience. She started off on working with Essence Festival just as an intern and not getting paid. She worked with them for years, and then they gave her a management position. So I wouldn't say that you necessarily have to go to college. Really, I think jobs look at your experience, if anything. I think a lot of jobs require you to have a degree, but I think also some don't care if you have a degree at all whatsoever. If you have that experience, if you have the background, then hey, why not give you a shot? So I'm kind of 50-50. Yeah, go to college to gain certain experiences, and kind of don't need it because you can definitely go get a trade. I have a friend of a friend, a dental assistant. They did a trade instead. They're making $50 a year. So you know, you gotta pick and choose. You know, I think it also depends on who you know as well. The only reason I went to college, honestly, is because I didn't want to stay in Shreveport. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana, by the way. I didn't want to stay in Shreveport. What am I going to do in Shreveport? You know, so it's just like, well, the next step is let's just go to college. And I became the first generation grad in my family. So I say college is an experience of its own, but I don't think you necessarily just have to have it. Not necessarily.
And for me, yeah, I don't think it's a must that you go to college. I'm like 80-20 with that one, right? So I'm leaning more towards no now, being that as of recently, I'm a super advocate for financial literacy now, right? So I'm more about really understanding how money operates, how it works. And that's one thing I figured out during my years of college that was never taught, right? It was always taught how to work for money. And you know,
I feel that. Yeah,
you know, that's cool to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, I'm looking long term and wanting to make sure I can switch the circumstances for my family. So, run the question back one more time though, just so I can make sure.
So to go to college or not to go?
So it's like, yes, if you want to get into a career field, you know, like a nurse and like med in a sense, right, where you actually need it. The reason why I came to college was for networking purposes, honestly. So that's pretty much how I look at it. If you want to extend yourself or extend your opportunities and resources, you know, to come connect with people, but you can also do that outside of school as well by, you know, joining certain clubs or organizations that may be, you know, of your interest, right? So, and I know I'm keep saying real estate, but I gotta say it again because it's like, you know, you can join a club such as that, a network association that can help out, right? So that's so many different opportunities. So it's not necessarily no ultimately, because you know there are pros to being in college, but it's not necessarily as it's been painted. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I agree with that. I didn't know if I was coming to college. I was gonna go, and because all in all, I want to own my own funeral home. Like most of the people know that. It's not funny. I'm going to be making money. We're going to work together. Yeah, I'm trying to employ all these different jobs so that we can really take over and really, black funeral homes are so small and I want to go to a corporate level. Anyway, so I knew that I did not have to go to college for that. So I'm like, I can get my embalming license. I can do this, that, and the other. But I didn't have a network. And so I was like, I got to learn from my dad and what my grandpa did and do things differently. So that's why I took this route. But I want to hear from y'all. How y'all feeling and what are you thinking about college so far? And Cece, I know you got to step out soon.
My dad, he's been talking about college since I was probably like 5.
Yeah.
You know, he grew up talking about how, you know, his dad went to Howard, became a doctor. My mom, or his mom, was a teacher over in Detroit. So he's been talking about schools ever since I was like 5 years old. So I feel like I didn't really have a choice.
Right.
You know, he went to undergrad at Michigan, went to Pepperdine, got his MBA, then eventually got his Juris Doctorate at Southwestern in LA. And throughout that whole experience, he said he was working full time. So he didn't have any loans afterwards. So basically, given the hard work that he went through, he was saying that, you know, I'd have to do it in a sense. And, you know, during middle school and high school, I just ran track. Wasn't really as focused onto, you know, college until senior year. And thankfully, I was able to get a scholarship from MCLI. But honestly, I wouldn't know what I would be doing without that, because, you know, given the pressure that I had from him, then the support system I had after getting that scholarship, I feel like my expectations were just really high. So, 4 years later, I'm really thankful that I came here. It offers a lot of security in terms of, you know, having the credentials behind you. But yeah, I didn't have a choice. I couldn't think about not going to school, honestly. So,
I didn't have a choice either. My mom told me if I didn't go to school, I was gonna be out on the street. I don't like when it get cold at nighttime, so
It's cold right now.
yeah.
Still cold.
So I mean, and I'm not the first generation. I'm like number 4 for as far as college goes. And I mean, I don't mean just going to college. I mean graduating from college. So so I have no choice in this. And for the route that I want to take in life, I just had to go to school. So hopefully, you know, I just got to keep up the good work and stay focused. And you know, I'm just starting. This is my first semester. Well, first semester in a month. So you know, I'm not nowhere close as near as close as some of y'all are already in y'all's position. So I just got to keep going.
Yeah, same. So I was born a college grad. I really didn't have a choice, like, to go to college. It's just a matter of where I was going to go. So I feel like it's important in some senses, like the example that my parents have given me. So my mom is also a college grad, and you know, a lot of my family members have gone to college and graduated. She's a college grad, and like she has her JD, so she's in the class. Well, my dad, he didn't grow up with the resources to go to college and finish. So I mean, he never took that traditional undergraduate grad school type of route. He did more of like the learn a trade, a skill, and then, you know what I'm saying, work their way like that. So now I feel like my parents are on the pay scale, their jobs are on equal levels, even though they didn't take the same route. But so my thing about college is, yeah, you can go, but if you don't have any type of hustle about you, even if you are an undergrad, you can get that degree, but you're sitting on nothing. If you didn't hustle while you're in there, you're not finna hustle when you get out. Okay, you got a degree, but I hope it keeps you warm at night.
Moral of the story.
Yeah.
You gotta hustle.
You want to say something? Okay. Oh, he's good.
Okay. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I wasn't necessarily forced to go to college. However, you know, my mom was just encouraging me because she didn't get to finish. And then, like Bree said, you said your dad was in a trade. My dad also was in a trade, and he worked for Boeing for like years. So we were pretty good, you know. He didn't go to college, and he was making a lot of money at the time. So my ideal, you know, perspective on college was I was gonna go to Howard. I was gonna be the top designer. None of that happened. Do I feel like this experience, it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. But I also feel like I could have did something else and would have been perfectly fine. Like I would have been doing what I really want to do. So yeah.
But you are going to be the top designer.
I am going to be the top.
I was about to say.
I'm saying, like, Howard just gave me, like, that status, you know? Like, I felt like if I went to Howard, I don't know, I was just going to be, like, you know, like, there's certain schools give you that status. So, like, someone who went to Harvard, we're talking about degrees, and we're talking about experience. Like, I feel like people are going to look at their degree and be like, oh, they went to Harvard, so they know a lot. Like, you know, whereas I went to Dillard, so I have to have, I don't mean to put it like that. I went to Dillard, so I have to, like, back it up with
okay.
So,
a lot of people don't know that Dillard is the first HBCU of Louisiana.
Exactly.
They don't know that.
They
So
don't know.
it's, you got to make it work.
But still, you
Regardless.
just have to work 10 times harder.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. It's okay.
So yeah.
Casey, what you? Casey, how you feeling over here?
I was saying like, if I could take it back, I probably wouldn't go just because I do music, and I would just probably stay in my city and network, come down to other cities and just perform and network. School is just like, I kind of learned the business part of it because I was in music business, but if I could, I would just stay home and network with different people. I don't think school is like really necessary to be a rapper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Education.
And I feel like for some fields that's very true. Like, do I really need to go to school to learn business? There's so many people
That's true.
who have started from the bottom and they've just learned from experiences and they've become multimillionaires. So I just feel like if we're surrounding ourselves with certain type of people, you'll eventually get to their level.
For sure.
So yeah.
That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like school has given me, like thus far. That's what I feel like school has given me because, like I said, hustle is key. But when you're in school, it gives you more opportunities to kind of learn the ins and outs, so you don't have to make some of those pitfalls that some people have to learn to get to the top. So you can kind of learn. It's kind of like people that play sports. You know what I'm saying? You can have a natural knack for it. You can be good at it on your own, and you can still go to the NBA. But if you're good at it and somebody invests in you to like train and work on your skills and work on your downfalls first, you can go to the NBA and have to work a lot less hard. You can get a lot less sprained ankles because you can't do this or you can't do this. You can just work your way to the top on a more smooth plane if you know the rules of the game first.
Okay,
So that's what
right.
I'm getting from college.
That was
That was
cute.
good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
So we're gonna segue into hold the mic. Look, we're gonna segue into supporting Black-owned businesses. So there are quite a few of you in the room. Sister, you can come and join the conversation if you want to on this couch. If you want to, I'm sure Tori will speak to it as well. But for those that do own businesses, startup, whatever, talk about that, and then we're gonna get into a couple questions.
Okay, so wow, so convenient that I'm holding the mic already. Okay, so yes, I do own my own business. It's something that I've been working on for the past like 10 years. I mean, given that I'm 20 years old, but still. So my business right now has taken many different forms, but right now it's Breeze Creative Design, and I mostly sell like customized artwork. And so as far as supporting Black businesses, definitely do it, period. Just do it. Because if you're spending your money in someone else's community, we're never going to reach the top. Okay, so I think it should be done. But also, what was the question again? Say that.
Oh, I just wanted you to talk about your business and whatnot.
On Instagram, you can DM me to order at AYYE_BRI with 3 eyes.
Bree, how many podcasts have you been on?
4.
They know you. I promise you.
Just in case So with me selling my artwork, I think a big question, like a topic that's probably about to come up, is people are like, I don't support Black-owned business, too much money. So one, I think sometimes people have to realize what things are and put a value on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I sell my artwork. So like artwork is a luxury item, period. It's not a given. Everybody don't have a Picasso in their house for a reason. Everybody doesn't have this and that customized for a reason. Like these things, they take more time, effort, creativity. It's like a one-on-one thing. So you have to evaluate your value of the item before you come to the person. You know what I'm saying? To try to obtain something. So I can appreciate people who do value what I do, and I understand my market. So I understand my market is mostly women 18 to 24 in the New Orleans area. So that's like people our age. And so I appreciate the people that want to support, but I understand that my time, my resources, and my talents, like, they can equate to a certain price. So if somebody wants to support me and get something that's this big, and I tell you something that this big is going to be $250, and they're like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not just going to say, well, if you can't, then is it whatever. I'll try to offer you different options. Like, okay, this big is this, but this in the 8x10 is this. So I try to work with people because I do appreciate people that take the effort to try to support Black businesses, and especially when it's things that are so, such a niche market that's so specialized. Like, I can appreciate that.
Cool. So the question everyone in the room can be thinking about is, how do we better support Black-owned businesses? If you want to.
So even as far as support goes, promoting one another, it's just like last night I promote my classmate, also my friend Amber Fontaine. She's throwing a HBCU party. Just post it, bro. Like, that's because honestly, I will support if I have the money, but sometimes you don't have the money to do so. So I mean, you have to support in different ways. So that's just one way, boo. That's just one way, just to repost. Social media is heavy. It's a big thing now. It's not going anywhere either. It's not dying down. Social media is always going to be around. So supporting by just a simple repost or promoting that person on your page, whether that's your IG story, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. That's just one way to do it. But definitely it's necessary to support one another. I remember I had to, even though I'm not heavy on social media, I remember making a statement on my IG story, and a few people DM'd me and said they wanted to see my face more. And it's like, well, I want y'all to keep that same energy. Go ahead and go follow my my business pages, please. And support like that. I appreciate you wanting to see my face more in 2019, but I would appreciate if I could see your support more in 2019.
Yeah.
So it's definitely needed, and like I said, social media is just another way to do so, for sure.
You want to speak to your business a little bit so folks have some background?
Sure, for sure. Well, McDowell's Branding Group, LLC, that was created by my older sister, Jaleesa McDowell, and I'm going to hand her the mic soon, and she's going to talk, and she'll speak on the business more, because that's her baby. I don't want to get that misconstrued at all. I help my sister out because that is my sister, number one, and number two is because I support her in anything she wants to do, and that's vice versa on her end. Something I recently started back in 2017, which is always something that I wanted to do while I was at Dillard. I was never pushed to do so, nor supported, or I didn't have enough confidence either. Lifted Vibes Apparel, which is a t-shirt line, also a lifestyle. Something I'm still working towards as well. So, yeah, it's something I'm working towards as well. It takes money to make money, and that's where I'm at with my apparel line right now. I'm going to pass the mic to my sister so she can speak a little more on McDowell's Branding Group. You don't necessarily have to point the camera to her. I'm just going to, pass the mic. That's all. Yeah, I know it's so unexpected, girl, but you're such the entrepreneur. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Have a seat. My company is McDowell's Branding Group. I'm a publicist here in New Orleans. Moved here about 2 years ago. And what we do, we help clients, whether you have a brand, whether you're an individual, we help maintain their image. So whatever they want to put out to the public, we control that perception. So whatever the brand is, we definitely try to get media interviews, partnerships, opportunities here in New Orleans and outside New Orleans. That's huge for me because we don't ever want to box anyone in. So some of the clients that I've done work for, I started when I first moved here. I worked with We That's Chicken and Shrimp, doing some work with, of course, Essence Festival, Big Frida, VH1, Fuse TV. About to do some work with Mia X. So it's a lot of great things coming. So I'm just grateful and blessed to have my sister to help me as well.
Thank you so much. And she's also representing Dillard University grad Jared Green. He's Arthur from New Orleans.
Yeah.
There's a creature in my belly.
Yes.
McDowell's Branding Group represents him. does PR for him as well. And about in 2 weeks, he's going to be headed off to LA for the top 40 young black men for Obama's foundation. So that's really something heavy for Jared and for New Orleans and for McDowell's Branding Group for sure. So just look out for that. McDowell's Branding Group is the Instagram as well. You can all follow us. Follow what the clients are doing.
We're going to put it in. Yeah, for real.
Thank y'all for.
First off, that lemonade is the truth.
Right. Right.
For real. But so we talking about our business, right?
Yeah.
Black business.
Well, most people know me and my friends for starting this brand by the name of Baku. 2014 is when it launched, and for the most part, it's an artistic-based platform where like-minded individuals come together, right? And for the most part, apparel is what shows the unification. But what we do is, all the profits, well, I'm not going to say all, but majority of the profits go back to, community-based or oriented things. And not just yet, but I got to keep repeating this whole real estate thing because, they say you got to manifest it, right? So hopefully by the top of 2020, I'll have one of my first properties. I'm looking for a duplex. But, yeah, that's mainly what I'm into right now. Got to get them multiple streams of income, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what I'm into.
Casey, you want to speak to it before we go to the next question?
I'm alright for black business, right?
Okay. So what frustrates us about black-owned businesses? Like, is there any, we got to depict these different myths, but, like, what's something that frustrates you as a consumer? Not so much for those of you, don't think on the business side, but as a consumer with different black-owned businesses, like, how can we help each other better than what exactly frustrates you?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of jump in.
Okay.
Yeah, so like on Twitter, like if I see something dope and it's by black people, I want to like buy into it. But like sometimes, like when Bree was talking about the price point, it's like certain things, like just by me trying to have a business and knowing certain things, I see certain T-shirts and it's like $300, like $100, and I know it's just a Gildan shirt with a print on. Like I don't want to pay $150 for a shirt that's like was $20 to make. Like that profit is outrageous, you know what I'm saying? Like I do want to support it, but if it can be like at a cheaper price point, of course I get it. Then I can refer other people to it. But I know most black people don't have $150 just to spare to buy a T-shirt. Like, it's kind of outrageous.
Buy a T-shirt, yes. Yeah. No, because I was starting.
I'm gonna say what frustrates me about some businesses. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna say what frustrates me is kind of like two things: the crabs in a barrel thing. Like that whole thing where I'm not going to support this person because of some small issue or something just crazy, because you don't want to see them come up. But at the same time, I feel like people are they get kind of limited on their options of what they are going to make into a business. So it's like, okay, somebody does eyelashes. She do eyelashes, she do eyelashes, she do eyelashes. So it's hard to throw support behind the black girl that does eyelashes because 800 black girls do eyelashes. So, I mean, that's cool. But if you do eyelashes and, you could do nails too, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got to put a spin on it or you got to diversify so that we can have, if we can all get behind one person for this thing, it's not saying other people don't do it. But I'm saying if we can build that one person that specializes in this and one person that specializes in that, instead of spreading ourselves too thin, you know what I'm saying? So, or this guy that sells T-shirts. This guy sells T-shirts, and that guy sells a T-shirt that looks exactly kind of like that T-shirt. So it's hard to say you want to support both of them because I don't feel like you're getting a product differentiation. So now the black businesses are feuding because this person, that person does the same thing. And people don't want to support because it's the same price point. You're locking yourself into a price point because there's so many other people doing what you're doing. Like I know black people can be so much more creative than some of the things that I'm seeing. And then also with professionalism, sometimes that's just not.
Bingo.
I'll much rather spend my money with a black person than anyone else. But it's like, if you have a restaurant and your grandma, your little cousin, your mama, your sister, your brother, they all work there, and they don't treat people the same as, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can see the discord in these people that maybe your family are friends, but they're also your employees. Like, you need to be professional in front of people that you are trying to sell to.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have a restaurant, your mama the cook, she can't be cursing you out in front of the restaurant, and you own it. Like, that's not okay. It's like, I get it, that's your family business, but put that to the side, because if I want to support this, I can say, okay, that's black people sometimes. That's sometimes people's family situation. But it makes it hard for people to get behind that and want to push this to other people. It makes it hard for people to bring that to their job and say, these people have some really good food. We should have a corporate event here, because when you go there, the professionalism is not there.
Yeah.
So, Kwame Kilpatrick, who's the mayor of Detroit, said he got arrested for like bribery and kickbacks, and he said his talent got him places that his character couldn't keep him. And so, like, you know, it goes to professionalism. I just get frustrated because some of these people, I mean, some people can, like Bree said, they're artists, they're great artists, but their character can't keep them in those places. I mean, you know, there are, I don't mean to, you know, be that guy, but there are some white people who, you know, are not going to support somebody who's just, you know, out there, you know, as much as we don't want to face that reality, but some people are just, you know, I don't want to say ratchet or whatever, but I mean, you know, if you have that talent, there's that undeniable level of talent, and, you know, nobody can take that away from you. But there's your character at some point comes into play. How do you actually market yourself? Do you go around when you're, you know, like she said, in the restaurant, you know, the food might be great, but every time I come in here, I don't want to, you know, have to seat myself or, you know, wait for somebody 30 minutes just to come sit me down, and then when I get sat down, I have to wait 30 more minutes for somebody to come ask me what I want to drink, you know. And so sometimes, and this isn't only happening in black businesses, but, you know, just the same as if it was a white business or, you know, any other race, I would get up, you know, and leave. But, you know, sometimes we go the extra mile just to support black businesses because it's a black business and we're black. But, you know, I just don't think that professionalism is a hard issue that I always face with black people. It's never a lack of talent, because I just think some of us are just naturally talented, and it's, you know, that's something that can't be taken away from us, and it's and it comes from, you know, our history, you know, the African diaspora, but you know, we have to understand where we've come from and how we got to those places. We're warriors and fighters, and we've, you know, overcome these things, and so professionalism is just something we also have to overcome. But the question is, how do we make it culturally acceptable to be professional? I don't know if that's something that we accept as a culture, that we think it's okay to be professional, because oftentimes when when you say someone's professional, they say you're acting white, as though white people have a monopoly on being professional. And we just got to get rid of that, you know, that white people have a monopoly on being professional, because that's not the case. And so Arsenio Hall also once said that they've always let us entertain them. White America has always allowed us to entertain them. We've seen the first MLB player or the first basketball player. I mean, these happened 40, 50, 60 years ago, but we're still getting, you know, first black PhDs in, you know, neuroscience, and that's because we've always been allowed to dribble the ball just for their sake, so that they can watch, instead of actually allowing us to own the basketball court for us to play it. And so once we get those avenues, we have to also, I know I went back to that last question sort of, but once we get those avenues, we kind of, you know, got it broadcasted and let everybody know, hey, this is one of us doing something great. This is one of us doing something that is reasonable, and we got to get behind it, because, you know, millions of us didn't make it, you know, but this one is doing something great, and we have to support it. I know I went on long.
That was good. That was really good.
Look, and then Josh and Tamara, y'all got businesses too. You do wigs, you have photography, so y'all need to put that in there too. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so yeah, I'm a photographer. You visit my website at joshuawilliamsiv.com.
He just updated it.
It's been updated, you know, but my business is kind of like, I don't put my business before my education, because, you know, it's based on the industry that I photograph. You know, I'm doing music and entertainment, and New Orleans for the past few years, there hasn't been a lot of big artists coming on tour or anything, so I've kind of been chilling on that. But a lot of people don't know the investments I put onto like that platform. You know, people in the past have asked me, you know, for photo shoots, and then I give them the price, and they don't follow up on that, and they think it's crazy, but they don't know the behind the scenes cost of just having a website available for a year is like $250, whether someone visits it or not. The equipment for photography, you have to pay for the quality. So the lens I have, you can't go on eBay and get it for a steal for like $20. The lenses are like $1,000 up if you want to have good quality. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not mad. I just want my work to be viewed and have people, you know, be inspired by it, which people have in the past. Because a lot of what I've done in terms of being on red carpet experiences with people that have been watching on television, haven't met, you know, professionalism is actually what got me to those places. So I, you know, make sure to humble myself with that. But as far as support, you know, I'm not dying for new clients. I just want to have people, you know, at least see the work that I have, feel inspired by it, and if they buy into the image that I'm trying to create behind my name, they can support that, so that, you know, more people can view my website in the future. You know, that's just like my portfolio of things that I've been dreamed of, that I just really thankful for the experience of having. But you know, other photographers, whether they do like just portrait work, weddings, events, I don't put as much time into that type of photography because it doesn't match the image I'm trying to create online. There's a photographer out there now, his name's Greg Miller. He's like my biggest inspiration. He's been on tour with Drake, Childish Gambino, they're personal photographers. But he's like, you know, he's not in school right now, so, you know, he has more time to invest in that avenue of, you know, income. But I don't know. Yeah, photography is a different type of thing. I'm not doing hair or shirts or anything where I need, you know, a constant market of people buying my images or anything like that. But any support is support, and I'm just thankful for anyone I can support. So, yeah.
So I'm gonna touch on what you were talking about and also what Bree is talking about. I don't know what the issue is with people just not paying, you know, or feeling like stuff is too expensive. I make wigs, and my wigs are like dirt cheap. Like I'll charge you $70 for a frontal.
Versus like, you know.
Yes, and people will be like, I don't know if I'm gonna pay that much. Like, I get it. Like, we're in college, so
Yeah.
I'm giving you the price of $70 because I know you got to get the hair. You know, you're paying me, so that's like what, maybe $300. So yeah, I don't know. And then what Bree was talking about, where people are selling lashes and hair, and that's fine. But fine. But don't sell me lashes that you bought from the hair supply store. I'm not stupid.
Girl,
like,
people do that.
Yes. It's okay to do that. However, at least try to come up with some type of packaging. Make me feel like you put effort into this. Because I could easily just go on AliExpress, Alibaba, buy some wholesale, put the packaging together, make you feel like I actually made the lashes, you know, went to a factory, when really I just got it from China for a low price, and I'm selling it for like $30.
That's what most people are
doing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just think creativity is key. Yeah. Same with hair. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about like music, cause I guess music is just like a business also too. Like Josh was saying, it's the support sometimes. You really just want your friends to support you, anybody you meet, you connecting, just to support. You know, music is easy. We all have access to Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, anything. You know, you really can change people's lives by just streaming for them. Just me listening to your project could put dollars in your pocket. And not saying I pay attention, I listen to the radio sometimes. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just driving. And you actually paying them. They get paid from the, you know, interactions and stuff like that. So if you just listen to somebody's music, when I go to these shows out of town and stuff, I connect with people, I listen to their music. I might actually be a fan of their music. And I'm actually supporting them when they do stuff. I interact with them. Hey, yeah, I like that project, man. If I got some extra money, I'll buy your project on iTunes. So that's black business as well too. So I try to support it like that.
So we talked about our frustrations and supporting. We got a lot of creatives in the room. Like, we need to come together. What are we going to do differently? Are we letting these businesses know what we're not okay with, what we're frustrated with, or do we just walk out, oh, I'm never going to do it again? Like, how are we going to treat the black business different than others? As we say we do, how can we actually help them in different ways? Because they may be comfortable and see that nothing's wrong with what they're doing, but will you go the extra mile to say, look, I'm going to keep supporting you. However, I think you should take A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can we do to keep the money generating in the black community?
Yeah, so the last question was about our frustration, right?
Correct, yes.
So I think everybody's opinion was valid, you know what I'm saying? Nothing was wrong with it, but definitely having a sense of forgiveness. Like, you got to learn to forgive your people as well, because what I've noticed over the years, like, we'll forgive everybody else, right? They could mess up, like, let's say Domino's. They could mess up our order a million times.
And
We're
we'll
going to keep
still
going back
go.
to Domino's because they're going to be like, oh, we'll give you a free one or whatever the case is. But the one time one of us do something, it's like, oh my God, they're not professional. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, sometimes you got to forgive, but, have a certain standard, you dig? Because, I mean, business is frustrating within itself for the consumer and, you know what I'm saying, the producer. So it's like, just, that's what I really see to help the overall progression of the support of black businesses, is having that forgiveness. But also, it's a duty that the consumers have to, live up to as well, because instead of, and this is not directed towards you or any of you who are speaking about the pricing, right? But you gotta understand there's markets, right? So certain businesses may have a price point. Let's say like a Lonzo Ball, LeVar Ball.
Yep.
I remember during that time period when he dropped his was anticipating dropping his shoes or whatever. He's like 500.
Oh yeah.
And he may have got his his manufacturing cost may have been $7 per shoe, whatever the case is, but never knock someone hustle for making their profit. Like, if someone has the money to afford it, then let them purchase that. You know what I'm saying? Let them purchase that product. It may not be for you. So that's why there are other options that you can go to. It's just a matter of, as a consumer, being confident, in yourself, instead of saying like, okay, I can't buy the 500. They're doing too much, but they may have someone selling shoes for $25, $50, but you may not want to purchase it because the society views on me. Oh man, you don't have the drip or the swag or whatever the case is. Like, as a consumer, you just gotta, go what you can afford. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is important, that as a consumer, we have to just be real with ourselves and forgive at times as well. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely, it's a journey overall for both parties. It's like a relationship. It is a relationship. Just understanding what your consumers want, what your market want, and then the market has to, like, let the people know, let the business owners know, hey, like, we standing firm on what we want. And if you're not, because not everyone is what can I say? Like, they're not worth the support, and that's just the truth. Like, sometimes it's like, just because they're black doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend your money, because that's your power that you have as a consumer, whether white, black, Chinese, like whatever. That's your, you know what I'm saying, that's your power. So it's like giving people a standard that they have to live up to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to deliver because you're spending your money. So, just holding to that standard. And that's my viewpoint on it.
Cool. Any lasting words, wrapping things up, Okay.
I mean, black businesses supporting black people is something that, I hold close to my heart. So, like Apple was saying, like, I definitely treat the black business with much more compassion than I do, spending my money anywhere else. So, like, whatever happened, I know y'all remember what happened with Papa John's, right? Yeah. No, can't get no more of my money, period. Like, I don't care how many apologies y'all send out, how many scholarships y'all fund, I'm good on that. If y'all having a $5 pizza deal, I'm taking my $4 to Miracles. Like, I'm not. I can't do it. So, because, that's your voice. Okay, yeah, I'll forgive these people for, doing this, that, and the third to us as a whole, but they still want to send me something and I'll buy it. No, not happening. Like, I'll go into the places that sell whatever, you know, manchu, they sell chicken or whatever like that. But you're going to talk to me crazy and try to sell me food that our people are known for anyway. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I think treating the black business with compassion is something very important, because you also need to know that these are a lot of things that are not like corporate yet. These are not, you know, have a lot of funding behind them all the time, you know, straight out the bat, which I can appreciate people who have supported me. Like, I know me personally, I can appreciate people who have supported me through my growing phases. Like, when I was, okay, you supported me in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my art was not where it is now. I appreciate you. Like, I appreciate you for supporting me and growing with me. But at the same time, we have to realize that that's our voice. But at the same time, I think some people who are starting a black-owned business have to kind of get off their high horse and see where they're at. Like, okay, if you're dropping it, like I was saying about the shoes, if you're dropping the $500 shoes, but we don't really know you yet. You haven't really, you know what I'm saying, built a brand.
Yeah.
You can't just get upset with people for not feeling comfortable with paying that. You have to take time, money, invest in building your brand, because that's your reliability. Like, I would never, you know what I'm saying? I also do sewing and make clothes. I'm not going to make a skirt, drop it for the same amount that Gucci's going to sell theirs for, okay? Because I haven't taken the time to take that part of my talent and build brand recognition. So, like, you got to pace yourself and work your way up.
Yeah, I want to speak on to branding too, because, you know, everyone is really consumed on social media. You know, people want to tweet how they feel every second of the day, and if they have a business, then, you know, possible customers, they have to scroll through all the stuff you talk about, all the complaints you want, just to see, you know, a promotion that you may have about a product you're offering from 3 weeks ago that takes, you know, 5 minutes to scroll to, you know. So, you know, one thing that I did, you know, when it comes to social media is I don't put everything on to social media, especially because, you know, my brand is my name. Like, everything I post is behind my name. So when it comes to black businesses, I think it's important to be patient in building your brand. That's actually crazy because I actually brought this with me. This is the only day I have in my backpack. So this has been like something that I've been aspiring to do since I came to Dillard. You know, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but the first artist I did was August Alsina at the homecoming concert in 2015. And that was just straight voluntary. You know, I was just so happened to be there after coronation. I said, oh, there's an artist coming, I might as well stay here. I'm suited up, I got a bow tie on, might as well just start photographing. And, you know, in doing that, you know, I posted images on social media and, you know, got a few retweets and all. I found fan pages retweeting everything, so I saw that there's a market for that. But in doing that, I understood that if I want people to continue to support me, I can't post my life under my page.
Right. I'd
either have to create a separate page for my photography or just stick to my name and move on with that. So fast forward 3 years, I've continued to do that, and Billboard reached out the day after Chance came and spoke at Dillard for commencement. And I think that since, you know, my photography and all my work was on one location, they were able to see the credentials I have, and this is a photo of Chance right here. Yeah.
Oh, Josh.
You go, Josh.
Yeah.
Damn, that's amazing,
Like,
bro.
you look at the credits, and everyone else is like working for a big publication, whether it be Getty Images or something. I'm just a student, you know, photographing.
That's just the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
No,
That's just
someone,
the beginning,
you know,
right
they
there.
reached out.
That's amazing.
Josh, I'm
One of
so
my
glad you
babies.
shared, because you
Yeah.
usually don't tell people about
No,
the
I
things
never
that
do.
you're.
You gotta keep telling people about
It just so happened to happen.
Right.
What's the name of that game?
You know, this is just something
What's the
I've
name of
had
that game?
I'm here for
just,
it.
you know,
That game
think
with
about,
the
you know.
clapping and all that.
Too early.
What's the name of that game?
What was the game we were playing?
The name of that game we was doing all that.
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, we just need to do it again and give Josh.
Oh,
I want to talk about brand, y'all. Just your name is, you know, try to monetize what you do and don't, you know, make people think of you before actually meeting you. You know, social media is very important, so make sure you represent yourself well, because You never know who's going to reach out and look on your page. You know, that's what I want to say.
That's a great way to wrap things up. I'm thankful for y'all being here. I hope everybody got something because, like, you know, we're in two different ways, in two different lanes. But hopefully everybody was able to take away something, right? Yes? Okay. So then I can sleep at night. But yeah, thank y'all so much. And for you guys listening and tuning in to the Root Podcast, thank you so much for listening and viewing the first live podcast, right? So we're just super excited. And that's all. Thank y'all.